folks. I'm Craig Lipinski.
I'm Seth Castellum.
And I'm Chris Dunn.
And you're listening to episode 10 of Ludowave Radio, the smooth sounds of video game talk. And that's double digits. We're in double digits. We did it.
We made it. This is our last episode, everyone. We made it to 10, and now we're done.
There's no way we can do any better than episode 10.
I don't think we've done any better since episode 2. I was going to say 1, but episode 1 we sounded like we were in a cave. So
that was, the reverb was really bad on that episode. That's me. I take full responsibility.
Yeah.
Well, speaking for myself, I am in a cave, so...
Are you?
I don't know. I was hoping somebody would, at least fake laugh at that.
That's
there you go.
All of Wisconsin. That's my understanding. It's just dairy cows and caves.
I mean, it's cold like a cave. Caves are cold, right?
You're lucky that it's cold. It's warm. We ran the AC today. It's November 3rd. I don't know. It's jacked here in New England.
It's like 35 here, so...
Holy shit. No, it was like double that today.
It's finally barely starting to cool down here. It's like 70-ish.
That's about what it was. That's pretty close to what it was today here, too.
Yeah, well, that's cooler here compared to what it's been. Fuck, I was going to say something, and it was going to be really, really good, too, but now nobody will ever hear it.
It's got to be better than my cave joke.
Oh, no, I was just going to make fun of Chris, because even though we're on episode 10, Chris has done, 3 episodes.
I'm on episode, 4.
That's good. That's so good.
At least one of those was not my fault. I couldn't connect to Skype. The other 2 or 3 or 4 are my fault, but...
I think we should give him credit on that one where he couldn't connect us. He was here. He was prepared. He did it.
I feel like honestly, I think that whole thing was a ruse, and I think he perfectly well could have connected to Skype, but he just wasn't. Well, I'm really trying, guys. It's just, oops, there it goes again. Because he'd show up, he'd pop up for a second, and then mysteriously disappear again. So
he's just clicking in and out. Whoa, I have no idea what's going on.
Exactly. It's like the classic. Oh, I'm in it, going through it, trying to can't hear you.
Can't hear you, guys.
Let's not underestimate Skype's ability to be a complete piece of shit, though.
That's true. Skype.
Let's not toss that completely out because
let's not underestimate how dumb I am. You really think I'm that clever? Come on.
I think you could be. You're just playing dumb this whole time.
I don't know. You're right. When I want to get out of something, I can be clever. So fair enough.
There was one point with Skype where I had to downgrade to an over-year-old version to use features that version used to have. So yeah, no, Skype's pretty fucky.
Skype made me reset my whole profile before this episode. They're like, it looks like someone tried to log in as you, and I'm like, fucking who? Who's doing that?
Gee, Chris, Mastermind Chris over here.
Wasn't me.
Okay.
Or was it?
That's fine.
Trying to log in from Milwaukee.
I have no idea who tried to do that. So maybe reset my password and do, I don't know, my weight on the moon in kilograms and all this nonsense. I don't understand people who try to overtake accounts. There's no value in this Skype account. It's a spite crime is what it is. It just irritates the shit out of me, inconveniences me, and you get nothing out of it. It's a spite crime. That's all it is. So I haven't really done anything the past 2 weeks. It's been really unexciting. I bought an iPhone 8 and decided not to get the 10. I bought the 8. But let's be realistic. It's not very exciting. It's not exciting news.
What's wrong with the 9? Why is it between an 8 and a 10? What did the 9 do?
There is no 9.
What?
They pulled a Windows on that shit.
They don't want to confuse it with the iPhone 98 or the iPhone 95.
That's
I'm full of these bad jokes today. These are not even bad funny. I'm sorry.
These are white dude in Wisconsin jokes. They're very good.
The middle of the country thinks they're very funny.
They're first I think a middle of flyover country loves this shit.
No, just keep fucking throwing these jokes out. Our audience will expand exponentially.
Amazing.
Oh my god.
I made all my YouTube videos private too. That was something.
Why?
Well, I've been trying to minimize my online footprint over the past year, And I mean, that's the biggest footprint. Like that's just a giant Sasquatch fucking footprint on the internet for me. And I haven't uploaded a video in almost a year, so it's just kind of like I don't know. This doesn't need to be. It's kind of like having your ex living next door. It's really hard to move on. You know.
That makes sense.
Not
Plus,
me.
Plus, YouTube is such a shithole now. Like, it's so bad.
Like, you just don't even want to be associated with YouTube?
Honestly, that's kind of it. There's some good folks making videos, but a lot of it's stagnant, particularly with, like, the gaming segment. It's just not... I remember when some of those dudes were like, we're the future. The traditional gaming press doesn't know what to do about us. And it's like, y'all are doing the same shit you did 5 years ago. You guys are not doing anything interesting. And don't get me wrong, I was part of that. I wasn't that interesting. So
we think you're interesting, Craig.
And I mean, think about it for a second. Thank you, Chris. But the most popular gaming dude on YouTube is, I mean, if he's not a racist
asshole,
he certainly can't stop himself from saying racist shit. At least, so I just like who wants? I don't know. I don't want to be a part of that. It's not what it used to be. It's not. It took me a while to realize this. The you in YouTube is not about the you who makes videos anymore. It's the you who watches videos. It's not a platform to communicate ideas. It's a platform to be entertained, and that's a huge shift. I think maybe for some people they don't notice it, but for someone like me whose videos were. I mean, maybe they weren't boring, but I don't think they were entertaining. I'm not like Dancing with a Top Hat and Cane or anything. They're not very entertaining. They were designed to communicate, and there's just not a lot. There's not a big space for that anymore on YouTube.
Huh. How do you feel about it? Do you miss it?
Sometimes I miss having that. I don't want to say purpose because my purpose in life was not making YouTube videos, but
fame. It's the fame you miss.
The fame was very small.
I don't care. Fame is fame, man.
Well, hey, I won't lie. It was nice having that kind of recognition for sure. Absolutely. That was a nice period of my... Yeah, no, that was good. That really helped my mental health. I mean, it was fake. You know, obviously when it went away, my mental health collapsed. But it was just like, it was like really shitty scaffolding or something. But I miss having a project, I guess. But that project consumed a big part of my life, and now it doesn't, and I'm not really sure what sort of project to move on. How do you move on? How do you do something smaller after that? You know, it has to be smaller. I will never have that kind of. Go on.
Maybe your project should be you, Craig. You see what I did there?
I did. That's very well. I'm not a very good project.
Well, that's why you got to work on yourself.
Oh, okay. I got to make myself a good project. I see what you did there.
Yeah, well, you are the project. You build yourself up.
All right.
You become the best. You become the best Craigie that you can be.
That's a pretty low bar. And then what?
And then you love your fiance and get married and stuff.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound so bad.
That's gonna happen. Yeah, it doesn't sound so bad. No. But you know, it was nice. I mean, a few people tweeted at me and said, you know, hey, thanks for the videos throughout the years. That was kind of nice. I appreciated that. But yeah, that's me. Made YouTube videos private and participated in consumerism. It was good. How about you, Seth?
I did that to Matt Casamassina once from IGN, like years ago. Like his name popped up like on my like Twitter feed as like somebody to follow or whatever, and he's been like out of the game business for years at that point. But I just tweeted at him and I thanked him for all the years that he was on IGN and stuff, and he replied and just said thanks. I appreciate it a lot. So.
I've done that from time to time. Reach out to people because I don't really talk to people on Twitter. It's just this sounds sort of egotistical, but it's just a place for me to birth my own ideas. Occasionally I'll respond to someone else, but that's not really what it is for me. I read other people's ideas and I put my own ideas out there. That's what it is. It's sort of like these it's these two lanes that don't intersect very often, I guess. But once in a while I make an effort to say, hey, you know, thanks for doing the thing. And I like to think that is nice to hear.
Yeah. Matt is one of the reasons I wanted to be involved in the game industry in some way, shape, or form. That original IGN crew of Matt and Pear and Fran and stuff, and Mark Bozon later on, just all seemed very fun. It seemed all very fun, and I wished I could do stuff like that.
I liked Matt. Bozon seemed like a cool dude, but that guy couldn't write his way out of a wet paper bag.
No, he was no, he was not the best writer. But I think him and Matt had like a good dynamic together.
They definitely did.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, I hated reading that guy. A lot of bad writers at IGN.
Yeah. I'm not going to disagree there. But I stopped following like after GameCube because all my favorite dudes weren't there anymore.
Yeah, IGN's kind of like the WWE of video game news sites. Like it's just really glitzy and trashy, and that's not what I want to go to anymore. I don't think.
It was good. It was good back in the day.
Back in the day it was great.
Yeah.
I loved.
It was the biggest thing. It was the biggest video game thing on the internet. I think
we all posted on the IGN forums. We did for years.
Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't got shit going on. I honestly can't think of anything that happened. I might have Hep A. I might have hepatitis.
That's gross.
A.
What happened?
Yeah.
Why are you disgusting?
Well, first of all, there's like
we know why he's disgusting.
First of all, luckily it's not like a big thing. It's not. I think you have like a 3% chance of dying from it or something if you're already unhealthy. But first of all,
God, Seth, so what are your odds?
98%. And it clears out of your system after a year or so. The virus will be expunged.
That feels like a really long time to live with 3% hanging over your head.
All right, but first of all, there's a really big outbreak in San Diego right now of hepatitis A.
Are you guys just swimming in your own filth?
Yeah, apparently.
I clearly have no idea how you get hepatitis A. I'm just thinking, let's just let you guys gross over there.
Okay, well,
I'm going to WebMD this shit after the episode.
Remember a few weeks ago when I was watching the new puppy dog on my own for a week?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was the very first day I had her on my own. I took her out at lunch. She goes to work with me. And I took her out at lunch to the park. And she ran into some bushes. And then she ran out of the bushes. And her face and one of her entire legs was covered in shit. And I'm like 99% sure it was like a homeless shit. Not like dog shit or something, but a homeless person's feces. And Craig and Chris.
What?
That's gross.
Yeah.
What is going on in San Diego?
Oh, there's tons of homeless people here, first of all. And yeah, then I was actually at the park where like I thought I found the body, and it was high tide at the time, so I couldn't get her down into any of the water because there's just like rocks, and then water, except for like one place like way down at the end of the little water channel there. And then I got her down in the water, and I was like trying to fucking get the shit off of her face, and there were some people with a baby. I was like, "Hey, can I have some baby wipes?" And they're like, "Sure." So I'm like,
"Don't come near our you're patient zero. Yeah, you spread it to the baby and everyone."
The way the lady handed it to me was like very like far. Anyway, she handed me some wipes, and I was like trying to get shit off my dog's face like while she was in the water, and then she started shaking. So then there's like nasty face shit water like flying at me everywhere.
Particles.
And then I had to text my boss and be like, "Yeah, I can't come into work because my dog's covered in shit. I'm gonna have to go home and bathe her." So I brought her home and fucking washed her up, and it was a whole gross thing. But anyway, with the shaking and the water and everything, and now I seem to be having some symptoms of hepatitis A. But whatever, it's not gonna kill me, I think.
Well, I hope not.
I hope
3% feels a little high to me.
Yeah,
I don't know why it does. Maybe because it's you. Like if it was just some other like moron, I'd be like, well, that's you're just playing the odds there. I don't know if that's you're just gambling with the hep.
I feel like getting in a car accident, or not even a car accident, just getting in a car. I have a higher chance of dying.
All right, yeah.
Well, you're probably fine then.
Yeah, I think every time I get in the car, I'm not like going, I sure hope I don't die in a car accident right now.
I do. You ever drive in Connecticut?
chance.
It's bullshit here.
Once.
I feel like driving is bullshit most places, though.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think it's exclusive to any one place. I think everyone's pretty much terrible everywhere.
Oh, yeah. You just accept that you have a possibility of dying. It's just like built in. You're like,
what are the symptoms of HEP?
You're like, I need to get someplace, but I might die, so it's worth the risk. Just like a...
Seth is like, let me finish the joke and then I'll talk about my horrible disease.
What are the symptoms? I don't... Oh, no. Like fatigue, joint pain, bowel movement things,
So just basically
like
old man syndrome.
Jaundice.
It's just old man syndrome.
Like, I think I have all those
Jaundice.
symptoms.
Yeah,
I know, maybe I have HEP.
We all have Hep A. It's the Hep A podcast. Anyways, that's just what's going on with me. I'm not going to go see a doctor or anything unless I'm like near dying, because that's just how I roll.
That's how everyone rolls. No one can afford that shit.
Yeah. But as a heads up, and I would have gone and done this if I had known, but I was too afraid to like Google anything about it. You could get a vaccination within 2 weeks of exposure to the disease and still have it fight off the disease. It's not like once you get it's too late. You got 2 weeks. You got a 2-week window that I just totally fucked up and did not do anything for. So, yay, Seth. I'm very responsible.
And after you missed this 2-week window, you said, I'm not going to go to the doctor until I'm close to dying. It did not. Yeah. It has not occurred to you that maybe you should do things a little sooner.
Listen,
just making sure I'm clear, not judging.
Yes, no, you're very clear. I'm very irresponsible. I'm working on it.
I wouldn't go either. I'm just, any opportunity I can take to judge you for something I would do too is I'm going to grab it.
No. It's a character flaw.
Cool.
I'll fix it. What have you been up to, Chris? Not getting diseases?
I have not gotten any diseases. I haven't, rolled around in shit or encountered any homeless people or anything. Right. No, I haven't been up to anything really, which has been nice because, the weekend before the last time we talked, I had run a marathon, and the weekend before that I was in Vegas, and the weekend before that there was a big pet festival that I was a part of here in Milwaukee. So doing nothing this past couple weeks has been nice.
This asshole rubbing in his pet festivals and shit.
What pet festival? Why is this the first I'm hearing of a pet festival?
Was Smokey
because I was not on the podcast for a week.
Yeah, but you didn't tell us about this pet festival. This is I love pets and I love festivals.
It's this thing my company puts on. The company I work for puts on Pet Fest in the Milwaukee area.
Pet Fest 17.
Yeah, I mean, and because I work for the company, I have to work on banners and all kinds of stuff for that. And then the day of the
you don't have to. That's a fucking privilege to work at Pet Fest.
Well, I have to because it's my job.
No, you should be thanking them.
And
for
then
this opportunity to work at Pet Fest.
Yeah. And then the day of the event, I had to go and sell merchandise and direct people and give out free T-shirts and shit.
You got to.
I got to. Excuse me.
Thank you.
It was a privilege.
It was a cool event, but it was a long day, and I am very happy that it is over. And I get to enjoy myself until the Pet Fest next year. When I get to work it next year.
There's obviously probably mostly dogs there, but were there like any cool pets aside from dogs that you happen to see?
I saw a guy with a giant lizard that he was carrying around.
Nice.
I heard there was a big snake, which I did not see, but I heard was there. Mm-hmm. We generally encourage people. We say that they can bring dogs and cats, but we don't turn away people if they bring other stuff. So there's definitely people who bring other kinds of stuff.
Who's bringing their cats? Cats hate to like.
There weren't that many cats, but there definitely were some. We had an area called Kitty City because everybody loves rhymes. Come on, who doesn't love rhymes?
Oh my god, I love it.
And there were some cat can giveaways. There was a castle built out of cat cans.
Oh my god.
And this sounds all so cool, and guess what? It was a month ago and you missed it.
Catman 2.
See, that's right up my alley. I'd be all over Pet Fest.
It's a cool thing. I mean, I think it's really cool. I'm glad that the company puts it on, and I like being a part of it. But it's a long day, and I am very glad that it's over because it's a lot of work.
Motherfucker, you run like for 6 hours straight in a marathon.
Yeah, and I had to work like 15 hours at this fucking event.
You were running though.
That's true. That's true.
Like behind, where are you? By sitting.
I was
sitting in a
supposed
booth,
to.
like,
I missed my 20-mile run that day, and I would rather have done the 20-mile run.
And that was just 15 hours at Pet Fest. That doesn't.
Yeah,
count
that's
all
not
the time
counting
they do,
all
like,
the
banners and
time of
shit.
planning it and setting it up for the
all right, that's fair.
the days before that.
That's fair.
I sound like
I
I'm
thankfully do not-
complaining, but I mean, like I said, I like being a part of it. It's just it's a lot of work, and I'm happy to. I'm happy that it
15
went
hours
well,
is
and I'm glad that
ridiculous.
I'm not working on it anymore right now.
I thankfully do not have to work events at my job, but I have to do like the banners and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not great.
Yeah, it's one of those things like we're not required to work really, but like most people do just because they need people to work it and they want people that they can trust. And honestly, I'm paid by the hour, so it's not that bad. Like I get paid for it, so I guess you could say I get to work it. Seth,
Man, if they like need people to hang out with like dogs and cats for 15 hours, I'll be like, yeah, whatever, I'll do this.
I want to be
have
the mayor of Kitty City.
You don't have to pay me. I'd have to stay away from kitties. I'm deathly allergic to cats, so that's not gonna fly. I don't know. Fuck it. I'll take a Claritin. No, I'll be good.
yeah.
You may visit my fair city.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Craig.
We welcome you as ambassador.
All right, I'm done. I'm done with this bit.
So that's what I did a month ago. The last 2 weeks, nothing.
All right. Well, we all sucked these past 2 weeks.
We were
Yep.
terrible. What the fuck?
Horrible human beings.
All right. Well, we took about 20 minutes to arrive at that conclusion that we just didn't do anything, hanging out with hobos and buying iPhones and shit.
Just a
It's
drain on Earth.
yeah, that's true. Okay, let's talk about some video games.
Okay.
In the past 2 weeks, guess what I played?
Fucking Destiny 2, Overwatch.
I did play Destiny 2, yeah. Not a lot of it though. Like I said last episode, the end game's not super rad, and I found out why. Apparently, they want to go like the esports route. They're thinking they're esports now or something. So they have seasons, and they've alluded to that. There's parts of like the UI that mention seasons, but I think it's a lot like the plot from Destiny 1, where like they just kind of came up with that idea and they have no idea what it means. They're like, we'll have seasons, and they had no idea what that meant for the game. But I guess that season, that like events and new gear and stuff will be tied to seasons, which is fine. I just kind of wish that I knew that before. Like it would make me feel less irritated that like I was done. Because that to me would feel like it's okay to be done, because I know that there's a structure of new stuff coming, not just DLC or expansions. I know that's coming, and the expansion looks good, but I kind of wish that there was a little more elaboration on these seasons. I think they just want to jump on the esports train. When you compare like Destiny and Overwatch, both they're kind of similar in some ways, but the Overwatch team is far more communicative with their fans than Bungie is.
Well, they probably like fucking have plans ahead of time and aren't just making shit up as they go along.
That's exactly what Bungie's fucking doing. They're just flying by the seat of their fucking pants. I also played a lot of Stardew Valley on the Switch. I played a shit ton of that. I probably got about 70 hours in on that game, and that is
Holy shit.
That is a good ass video game. That really got its hooks in me. I think, man, I think it does something for my anxiety. I think that making a plan and being able to commit to it and have like a routine, and of course all in game is, well, in Stardew Valley, doing my chores and earning money and milking the cows, and then like, okay, I got enough for the new barn or whatever. Like that does something. Having control over my life does something for my anxiety, and I think that's why I like Harvest Moon games and Stardew Valley, because like nothing bad ever happens. You don't like, oh shit, all the cows are dead, or like, oh man, I broke my leg.
Can you like let the fucking like your farm go to shit and all your crops die and your animals are starving and you're like, fuck, I can't even get out of bed today, and you just sit there with the controller in your hand and just leave your character in his room for 6 hours?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you can. You can like not water your crops and not feed your animals and then just stay in bed. Yeah, I mean, you could do that. I don't know what the consequences of that are. It's not like you have a mortgage payment. You don't have to earn money.
Your grandfather's ghost is just very disappointed in you.
Yeah, he will be. Yeah, I would imagine he'd be disappointed in you. I sometimes I wonder if injecting bad things into these games would do something, because I mean, one thing that makes me feel good in regards to my anxiety is being prepared for stuff. Like I like being prepared. That makes me feel like I've accomplished something. Maybe I don't know how to put it into words. So like if I earn a ton of money in Stardew Valley and I've hoarded a bunch of animal feed and I've hoarded food or whatever, and then like a massive ice storm strikes my farm and I can't like leave the property or whatever, and then I have to survive on whatever I have on hand, and I can do that. That would make me feel good and accomplished. But on the other hand, it might go against the philosophy of things like Harvest Moon and Stardew Valley, where they're very easygoing, and if you weren't prepared for that, that would probably be pretty punishing, and that would probably be against the philosophy of the game.
I'm trying to think of games that like just throw you curveballs like that aren't necessarily scripted in. I'm like only coming up with SimCity off the top of my head.
Harvest Moon 64 had an earthquake event.
Aha.
I'm pretty sure it was scripted. I'm pretty sure it was on a particular day, and I'm fairly certain you could prepare for it if you knew it was coming.
Okay.
And this was before, widespread information on the internet, so most people probably didn't know it was coming. So an earthquake would destroy, I'm fairly certain, a fair number of your crops. But other than that, these games, I mean, a meteorite strikes your farm very early on in Stardew Valley. But it hits like the middle of your farm, and by that point you've probably not, I mean, you have a lot of property, so by that point you probably have not expanded out to that point yet. So there's really little to no impact to you. But sometimes I wonder if like there was like the Sim City where like King Koopa just fucks up your farm.
Or like floods or droughts or something like that.
Right, or even just something minor where like, oh shit, the taxes for my farm came in, I gotta pay those, or like a cow's sick or something. You know, there's really no challenges like that to overcome, and maybe that's the point of the game. But
yeah, because like, is that fun? I don't know.
Yeah, I do not want to play a game where I have to pay taxes. That does not sound like a blast.
No, that's true. I was just thinking specifically in terms of me and what this game does for my need to feel in control of my environment, and expanding on that and how I would feel accomplished with that kind of framework. And I think, like I said, preparing for something unknown and stockpiling for something unknown and then being able to overcome that unknown variable would feel good. It would make me feel like I'm in control.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying.
But that's just me.
I mean, I say that, playing a game where you're paying taxes does not sound like fun, but on the face of it, I don't think a game where you're running a farm and you just have to do chores sounds fun either. And Stardew Valley is fun, so having a challenge like that just comes up, it could add to it for sure.
Can I get real for a second here?
Please do.
All right, so this catharsis that comes from playing the game, does it like stick with you, or once you turn the game off, do you go like, well, fucking shit, I can't get my own life together. What am I even doing?
I don't know how to answer that question. I want to say a little bit yes. I think it translates to like, this is going to sound really corny, but I think it does give me a sense of drive to do those things in my own personal life, to translate that hard work and that preparation into my own life. It's a lot harder though, because days are a lot longer than 20 minutes, and I do have surprise hardships, so it's far more challenging. But I think it kind of sticks with me in the sense that, like, yeah, I kind of want to emulate that, work hard, prepare, Don't waste your money on silly shit. That's exactly why I, bought the iPhone 8 instead of the 10. I mean, I need a new phone. My own phone was shit, but, I thought, okay, well, maybe I'll save $200 or $300 and just not get that nice screen. The guts of the phone are the same, so I went with that. So, yeah, I mean, I think in some ways it does stick with me, but maybe not for very long. I'll be back on my bullshit buying stupid crap I don't need any moment now.
I just ask because, like, when I'm like grinding towards things in games, like in Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, there's like fucking 60 something ghosts that you could only get in multiplayer, and they only appear once every 5 floors, and then they're like random. And anyways, I was playing this for like weeks back, and it was just like really cathartic, just like doing this monotonous grinding thing over and over, something that I knew would like maybe not pay off, but it was just distracting me. But then after I do it all and I get them all, and I'm like, hey, I filled out all my ghosts in my ghost beastery, then I just kind of feel empty. And I'm like, why did I do that?
Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, number one,
and I'm not comparing. I'm not comparing apples to apples here. I know, like yours is a slightly different situation. I'm just comparing.
Are you suggesting that perhaps Are you asking a different question I thought you asked? Are you asking if I feel like I wasted my time on the game?
No. Just if the catharsis that you experience while you're playing the game lasts into your actual real life.
Yeah, I would say it's kind of residual. It's not. I'm not like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna hoard all these apples. But there's like a residual feeling of like, especially because I sit down and I play for hours at a time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that idea of, I'm going to go to work. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to save some money. Yeah, I think that kind of sticks with me.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying that our examples weren't exactly the same because with Stardew Valley, you're actually like working towards something that you could theoretically place into practice in your everyday life.
Yeah, I mean,
preparedness and everything like that.
Have you guys ever like watched a movie or a TV show, and that movie or TV show invigorated your ambition towards something that happened in that movie?
Motherfucking The Cat Returns by Studio Ghibli. Yeah,
and what did that invigorate?
It just to be like creative and write and do stuff, and that lasted like maybe a week.
But it's a little bit like that. But think about like if the Cat Returns was a little more repetitive, like Stardew Valley, that you could keep revisiting it and keep getting that feeling. Yeah, it's a little bit like that. Like whenever I watch Terrace House, I'm like, man, I should really work on my Japanese. And for a brief time after watching an episode, I work on my Japanese harder.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So yes.
Yep. I should watch The Cat Returns again.
You should watch The Cat Returns again.
So good.
It is very good. And then I've also been playing Mario Odyssey, which I don't think I'm as in love with as I think a lot of other people are.
Oh no, Craigie.
You don't think it's a 6 out of 5?
No. It's I could not say. There's no way I could say that is anything other than a good video game, like bare minimum. Like there's no way you can go below good. You can't even go like, oh, I think it's all right. No, that's a good video game. There's no two ways around that. But I think, I mean, I have some like mechanical issues with it. Like I don't think I think the camera sucks. I don't know. You would think that in the year 2017 they do something to the camera. They went, fuck it, you just do it yourself. Like that's the state of camera controls now. But there's too many moons in this game. This is like Korok Seeds, the video game. There's no. Every time you fart or trip over yourself in this game, like it's just another moon. Everything gives you a moon. For me, there's no sense of like accomplishment or satisfaction that every stupid thing you do in this game is already prescribed and rewards you for just fucking being there. And I mean, and it's clearly a problem that they thought about because you defeat a boss and it's like, oh, what's the reward for doing something even more important? Oh, we'll give them 3 moons. It's like they went to design all these goals and they threw out 0 ideas. Like, what if we just walked in a circle around a Koopa Troopa? You get a moon. That's great. That's a goal.
What, you don't like tracing your steps as best as you can, Craig?
What the fuck is that even doing in the game?
It's
Like this, I mean, really an editor or a filter of some kind. Someone going, I don't know if that's Mario enough for this. Probably would have helped this game. I don't think it needed quite so many moons.
I don't even mind, because there's like, do you know what, that you need a certain amount of moons to like progress out of each world, right? Mm-hmm. And it's probably like 15 to 10 to whatever. It depends on the world. And I think for like less skilled players who can't, you know, get some of the harder moons in the game, like where you're fucking riding a Jaxie through poisoned tunnel things or whatever, then it offers an easy way for them to progress through the game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. I'm not a gatekeeper, but at the same time, like, to get the 15 easiest moons on any given world, I mean, that's not even a challenge. Like, that's like, you could be comatose and do that. And so, like, basically you would just finish the game just by doing nothing. And part of me says, well, that's fine. But part of me goes, yeah, but me, like, I'm still finding all these moons. Like, to me, it's very unsatisfying to do nothing and get a moon for it. And I know that there are more complicated and more adventurous goals. I know that there are. I've done them. And I know there's far more than that exist that I haven't done yet. But it almost feels like I'm like robbed of my excitement to do those already, because it's like I got moons on moons already. My moon cup overfloweth, and it's, to some people it might sound nitpicky, but for me it really is impacting my enjoyment of the game.
I mean, I sort of understand that mentality, but at the same time, like, who cares if you get moons for doing mundane shit when there's also moons for doing cool shit? I mean,
because the reward, the value of those things is equal to each other.
No, but the reward is in the event itself, Craig. Like finding like a cool thing to do and accomplishing it.
That's not wrong, but there's so many boring things to do that you have to wade through them to get to that one. You have to go through like 10 stupid fucking things to do before you find that one cool thing. And there are cool things. I think most of the transformations are stupid too. This is like a game with like 500 power-ups and 495 of them are fucking stupid as hell. Oh, I'm a rock and my sunglasses go on and off. Woo. Like, that's the power-up. And you use that exactly twice. And that's it. Like, that's right. You know, you contrast that with like Mario 64, right? And you had 120 stars, and they were all meaningful. It meant something when you got a star. And you had like 3 moves and 3 hats, and the game said, "This is all you have. You have to get all 120 stars with this." And Mario Odyssey goes, "How about, what if you're an onion? Is that okay? Can you be an onion?" And then that's how you get moons. It doesn't have that same level of restraint, not in its abilities and not in its goals.
I agree that the game is completely unrestrained, and that, like, I think goes to every single design aspect of the game, and I'm like cool with that, because there's just like a lot of stupid shit in this game that they would never have done in any other Mario game that actually does work.
That's true. I don't deny that.
And I think that's just that whole just completely unrestrained approach to the game in every single way. But no, I get your complaint. There's a million moves. Have you beat the game proper yet, the story mode, so to speak?
I have not had the willpower to do that.
Well, it gets stupid after that, and it literally vomits moons down your fucking throat after that.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Good to know.
But there's also some like really fucking cool stuff at the end game as well. But no, it's a moon bukkake. The game is a moon bukkake. That's my best way to.
That is a description.
I think the other issue I have with the game, and this is not on the game. It's not on the game, and to be fair, it's not on me either. But it's often talked about in the same breath as Breath of the Wild. Mm-hmm. As like Nintendo's 2 Game of the Years. And I guess in that sense, I was expecting something like Breath of the Wild that is not just an amazing video game, but completely reinvents its franchise. And that doesn't. Mario Odyssey doesn't do that. I mean, it might be a great video game in its own right. That's not my point. My point is, it doesn't reinvent Mario in the same way that Breath of the Wild reinvents Zelda. And I think that, for me, right or wrong, fair or unfair to the game, that's like in the back of my head and has kind of impacted how I view it. I'm like, I guess it's just like I'm playing it. I'm like, wow, I expected something at least different, if not more.
Man, on one of our first podcasts, we were talking about Mario Odyssey, and I was like, meh, it just looks like a Mario game. I'm not all that excited for it. And now that it's... And you were, like, defending it, like, no. And now that it's out, we are fucking completely flipped on our opinions here.
Yeah, it does seem that. I mean, I'm not meh. I'm not as meh as I'm coming across, I don't think. But, yeah, we're sort of flipped here, yeah.
My complaints with the game are, I feel like Mario's not zippy enough. He's like a little, I don't know, he feels like too slow for me. I don't like his movement speed.
I don't like the movements of some of his. I don't like the Jaxie movement, and I definitely don't like the Bullet Bill movement. I have not been able to work out what logic is in how those bullets rotate, because half the time I'll capture one and I'll immediately just blow into a wall. And not because I'm a moron, but because I'm just like, I pressed left and this thing rotated right and I have no idea why.
There's, like, don't try to rotate it is what I find. Just, like, point in the direction you want to go, like, right away. Like, I was trying to rotate him, too, and you don't rotate, just fucking point.
Yeah, I haven't had any major problems with it. I thought it was, like, whichever direction you are throwing the hat or something. I don't know. I haven't had any major issues with it, but... I don't mean that to sound like you're wrong, Craig.
Well, no. Well, to start, it's fine. But like, then there are spaces, particularly in the Sand Kingdom. There's one area where it's very confined, and you have to make a lot of turns. And I'll be honest, I'm not an idiot, but I could not work out. I could not wrap my head around how to turn in some of those tight confines.
Okay.
I mean, eventually I did. Eventually I got through that. I'm sure we both know what area I'm talking about. Or both, well, all of us. But I eventually got through it, and I got all the stuff out of there, but it took me a while.
I know exactly what area you're talking about, and I made it through that perfectly first try.
Well, I guess you are wrong, Craig.
So fucking wrong. Did you turn off the motion controls for camera? Because I think that goes with the bullet bills and stuff as well.
I don't know if I did that.
I have read people complaining about the motion controls for the bullet bill, and if you're like trying to do sticks and motion at the same time with them, then that might be fuckery.
That could be the case. Speaking of motion controls, that's another problem I have with this game.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't know how you put out a system where you can have 5 different controller configurations or whatever, and they're like, here, play it the dumbest way. And that's the only way you can actually get some of these moves out of the game.
Shaking my Pro Controller around is not ideal.
I agree.
I play in handheld mode. That's even worse.
Yeah. That's probably my biggest complaint is the... I mean, to be fair, a lot of the stuff, not everything, but a lot of the stuff you could do without motion controls, just worse. Like with the bullet bill, you can still go fast, but you can't go as fast as you can if you shake the motion controls. And like with the frog, you could jump, but you can't jump as high as but it's like completely pointless. You don't need to waggle that shit.
Yeah.
Like, why is that even in there? This isn't the Wii. You're not trying to prove anything anymore.
Well, I do think that Nintendo does waggle. And I'm not using it as pejorative. I'm using it as descriptive because it's not motion. This is waggle controls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, literally just a shake that shit.
It's just a shake, and sometimes that does feel good. And Nintendo's very good at making that waggle feel good, doing an action that has no attachment to that. So, like, I haven't played it with the 2 detached Joy-Cons, but I imagine that attacking as the cheap with a nice sharp flick of your wrist probably feels good. I wouldn't know.
Rolling might feel good, but...
Right, I'm sure. But instead, I'm playing in handheld mode, and it feels like garbage. And there's no reason why that couldn't be. All of these things can be mapped to a button. and I have no idea why they're not.
And a lot of them are just in worse ways.
Yeah. And the worst part is even these things that, I mean, I think there are some motions that aren't even just a stronger version of the regular thing. And, you know, you can do a spin attack with the cap, which I think you actually can do with buttons, but that's not the point.
It's not as good. It's more of a pain in the ass.
Right.
To do.
Yeah.
But like the jump button is mapped to 2 different buttons. Like they have extra buttons they could have used if they needed to, and they didn't. And it baffles me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
And then you got to sit there and watch that splash screen. Play with 2 Joy-Cons, you know, for like a solid minute.
That's the
whenever
other
you turn the
thing that
game on.
bugs me. Like literally every time you in an enemy or like hit read aside, either like that little video comes up showing things or the controls for the enemy that you're controlling pop up, even though you've been inside of him like 500 times. That doesn't sound quite right, but
That's right. Yes.
And every time you go to a new world, it tells you, "Oh, remember how to do this backflip?" It's like, yeah, I do.
Yeah, I know the Goomba's controls. Thanks. I'm on the last world. I know that they can run and jump. Thanks, game.
Yeah. I haven't said a whole lot here. I mean, I tend to fall more on the side of Seth. I like the fact that there are a lot of moons and there are just a wide variety of things to do. You know, I think they're not all winners. I mean, walking an invisible circle with a Koopa Troopa is not the most thrilling thing to do. But I do like the variety, and I look at it like I look at the Korok seeds in Breath of the Wild. I mean, I'm not going to collect every single Korok seed. I may go and collect every moon. I don't know. I haven't finished the game either. But I like the fact that, you know, if I don't want to do the stupid walking of the circle, there are plenty of other things I can do to collect moons. You know, and
yeah, but in Breath of the Wild, there are things you could do other than collect Korok seeds. This game is literally just Korok seeds.
Right, but they're all found in different ways, and I mean, I don't think any of the Korok seed finding, most of the ways you find Korok seeds are boring. I think. I mean, maybe not boring is not the right word, but it's the exploration is more the reward than the actual action of getting the Korok seed. Whereas in Mario Odyssey, a lot of the moons are fun to get. And yeah, there are some duds, absolutely, but for the most part, I'm enjoying the game.
I think there's a lot of duds. I think there's a lot.
I mean, they're everywhere.
I would love to play a game just as that springy onion thing, though. I would do that.
You're talking about the one whose legs stretch up all super long, and then he does a little flip, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that. That's the best transformation.
There's a caterpillar in the game. And that's, I think that one's my favorite. I don't know if you're quite there yet.
Are you talking about the weird, like, neon wigglers?
Oh, yeah, those guys are cool.
I fucking love I love that they're, like, their back feet stay put, and you, like, move them around. You move the head around, and then you get them where you want, and then you let go, and then they just zoop over to where the head is.
It's no onion.
There's also one in the second to last world, I think. That's a really fun... power up where it's basically you got a Pinocchio nose and you stick it in walls and like you climb walls with it. It's it's fun. It's fun. There's a few of the transformations I like. More games should steal Space Station Silicon Valley's ideas.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, that's all I've been playing. I haven't really been playing a lot. If you guys want to continue the Odyssey discussion, I'm down. But that's all.
I feel like I said a lot of negatives about it. So I really like the non-rabbit bosses. I don't like those rabbits as characters at all. They look like dumb and goofy.
I like that they try to do new characters. You know, it's not just the Koopa Kids again. I mean, I like in general the fact that this game is just there's so much variety. There's so much weird stuff. You know, like Mario's been such a I don't want to say corporate, but like Mario has a very specific style, and I feel like a lot of this is differing from that style, and that includes those rabbit characters. So I like that they're different, but yeah, I don't love the style of them in general.
What's their group name?
The Brutals.
All right, well that's good enough. It's good enough where you can remember their name because I could not.
Coattailing on that, though, I do have to say, I mean, if I'm going to add something positive here, I do really like the boss battles. I do think those are some standout parts of the game.
Man, there's one in the late game that is just bananas out of left field, and I'm not even going to spoil it for people, but I thought like I was fucking playing Bayonetta for a second. Is what happened there. There's some good stuff. There's some good boss battles in there, and like a lot of the pure platforming sections are really fun. But I guess those have always been fun in 3D Mario games when you just sort of strip away a lot of Mario's powers and just throw them in a pure platforming environment.
Yeah, it's like those levels in Sunshine where you didn't have the flood.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, stuff like that has always been a blast, and I'm glad there are still challenge rooms like that in this game. I mean, I haven't found anything that is super difficult, which I'm assuming I'll find more, and certainly after I beat the game. But I like that the platforming is there, although I tend to prefer the more linear, like Galaxy style, where there's more of a focus on the platforming, whereas this is obviously more exploration and adventure and all that stuff. But I'm glad that they went back to this style because it has been a long time since Sunshine. I mean, it's been, 15 years now?
Yeah.
Man, I feel old.
I was definitely missing it. And Mario's movements he has some more advanced shit in there than I realized, because it wasn't until I was in the snow world where I realized that he has a dive, and I was like, wait, how the fuck did I dive? And then I was like jumping off a wall and trying to make him dive for a while, and then I realized that you could like combine the long jump with the hat throw to the dive, and then you could like cover like crazy long distances if you chain all these things together. And
yes, you can.
Yeah, that's another one of those things that I feel like should be mapped to a button. You have to press the pound button and the hat button in order to do the dive, which is
that is banana
stupid. Like you, I didn't realize it until I was like 8 worlds in or something.
And that's the only way to swim fast too with Mario is if
I didn't realize until literally the world I'm in, which is 10 or 11 or something like that you could actually swim faster by doing that. I had no idea.
By long jumping?
No, by doing the dive.
Pounding and then
so you do the trigger and Y.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't have figured. I mean, the dive I knew that you could dive, so I looked it up. There's that action guide, which is actually really. I don't know if you guys have looked at the action guide in the pause menu, but that's really well set up. That's actually really good. But that I actually did have to like look up how to dive in a Mario game, which I think is pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
But I realized, you could swim faster with that. I'll have to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad that the dive is there, but I feel like dive should just be like mapped to X, But
yeah, it's so weird. It's such a weird. I don't know. They're like trying to go like a Sonic route. It'll keep it 2 buttons. Old school Mario, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But also, I really like the HD Rumble in this game, which is like not anything I've said about any other Switch game. And YouTube probably would be like, "What the fuck are you even talking about?" But
no, it does seem pretty good. There's a couple areas like I think it was in the Sand Kingdom, maybe, where you're like on top of a building and you can feel like the electricity buzzing underneath you, and it's super cool.
Yeah, okay, and then there's a tank that you could like a tank enemy that you could control, and like as you like move the turret around, like it like gives like good like feeling clicks in the controller too, like the tank turret's actually like clicking as it moves around. And then there's also some carbonated water you could swim in this game, and like it literally feels like fizzies are going up your controller like when you first dive into this water. And this is the first HD Rumble that's actually impressed me on the Switch.
It's all right.
Craig, you're such a sourpuss.
I'm still not sold on HD Rumble. I think actually getting the iPhone 8 has, to me, like the iPhone 8 is what I think people tried to sell HD Rumble as, because the iPhone 8 doesn't have a home button. It just has a little divot where a home button would be. So if the phone's powered off, you could just put your thumb in there, but it doesn't there's no give. But when you have it powered on, there's a whole haptic feedback system that feels like you're clicking a button. And it's fucking wild when you do it for the first time and you're like, there's no button here. It doesn't feel like a real button. It feels like a trackpad, I guess, but it feels tactile at the very least. It's very convincing. And I'm like, wow, that's fucking amazing. And then it was like HD Rumble, and it's like, yeah, I guess that's neat. I mean, it's more impressive than regular Rumble, I guess, but it's not the wonder that I feel like Nintendo tried to sell it as.
It's neat. Dive it in this carbonated water, and then
I have not. To be fair, that's the only thing I haven't done yet that you described. So I will I will give that a shot and see how that goes.
Yeah, I haven't seen the carbonated
when you
water
get
yet
there-
either.
When you get there, just pay attention to it. For me, Craig.
I'll do it for you. I will.
Thank you. Have you been playing anything else, Christopher?
Nope, just Mario Odyssey.
All right. I played some Fire Emblem Warriors as well on Switch. And the only other Warriors game I played is Hyrule Warriors, and it's like that, but you could switch between multiple protagonists, which is cool. It's got the whole weapon triangle, Fire Emblem weapon triangle thing in it, and you could pause at any point and direct your different characters where to go in a different forts or towards bosses and stuff. So that's pretty neat. But otherwise, it's a fucking Warriors game, and you're just killing hundreds of dudes at a time while trying to make sure your bases don't fall and stuff. But it's decent.
I bought this on 3DS, but I haven't played it.
You canceled your 3DS one and went towards a Switch. Did you cancel the Switch and go back to 3DS?
I did because yeah, we talked about this. We did. So to follow up on that, I reversed my line of thinking and thought that I would continue and finish out my collecting for the 3DS. And the more I thought about whether I would actually play this game a whole lot, helped make that decision. Because the answer is, truthfully, I'm probably not going to play it a whole lot. If I buy it at all, either way, it's going to be it's not going to be a great use of my money. I'm not going to lie. This is not the smartest purchasing decision I've ever made. But do I spend $60 on something I'm not going to play, or $40 on something I'm not going to play?
Apparently 40.
Apparently 40. I could spend. This is totally the sunk cost fallacy. I'm sitting here thinking I spent all this money on 3DS collecting. I gotta finish it out. No, I know I'm being a moron. I don't deny that. But I'm gonna see it through.
But anyways, it's kind of weird since you got multiple protagonists going on in the field, and you'll be playing, and all of a sudden, a thing will pop up, be like, somebody leveled up, and you're like, oh, it's not even the dude I'm using. It's some guy that's fucking fighting some base somewhere that I guess I directed him to. So it's kind of weird in that regard. But I don't know. I think it's fun.
How does it compare to Hyrule Warriors? Because I feel like for me, from what I've seen of it, I feel like thematically, I would prefer Zelda. That's me. That's what I like. But I feel like mechanically, this game's probably more interesting than Hyrule Warriors.
That's literally, you fucking took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say mechanically, this game is definitely better, but just who doesn't love Zelda?
Right.
But no, it definitely, it's definitely more interesting to play than Hyrule Warriors.
Gotcha. I hope they do a Hyrule Warriors 2 at some point, because I did enjoy that game, but I played it basically because it was a Zelda clone, or not a clone, but a Zelda skin on it. So, and I enjoyed it for that, but I didn't enjoy it so much that I'm going to go out and play every Warriors game out there. So, bring on Hyrule Warriors.
I hope they just take every Nintendo franchise just to I just don't. Pilot Wings Warriors. That's fine. Fucking do it. Do that.
Actually, I would try that.
I want to kill hundreds of people with a hang glider.
Yeah. No, I play that game.
That sounds amazing.
Wii Bowling Warrior. Fucking do it.
Oh my god. Just Wii Sports Warriors. Oh my god. I've got a bowling dude and the golf
The possibilities are endless. I don't even, yeah. Electroplankton Warriors. Do it. Make my dreams come true.
Oh god.
All right. That's all my video gaming.
Cool. You guys want to talk about some news?
Let's do news.
All right. There was the Paris Games Week, which I didn't even know was a thing, but apparently it is. And Sony showed off a few new games. They showed off Ghost of Tsushima from Sucker Punch for PS4, which is...
Go ahead. Okay, I watched this trailer. I watched the trailer for this game. And first of all, it looks phenomenal, graphically and just even artistically. But there's zero gameplay, and I don't know what the fuck this game is or how I'm going to play it. And I'm like, you're not trying to sell me a movie. You're trying to sell me a game. So show me your game, not a bunch of awesome-looking Japanese cutscenes that would impress me if this was something that was not interactive.
Yeah,
that's a lot of modern game marketing, though. They get you hyped up with the pre-rendered shit, or even maybe it's even in engine, but it's not gameplay.
Yeah, but Like, doesn't that sound like antithetic to selling a video game?
Not to a lot of people. I mean, to us, sure, and probably a lot of our listeners, sure. But I think to a lot of like normies, it gets them pumped. It gets them pumped to see a lot of cool shit happening in a game, and it's probably more exciting than watching some bumblefuck stumble over geometry and get lost in his mini map. They don't want to see that.
Okay, no, I'm fine with showing like obviously the cutscenes and everything like that are awesome for like a presentation. But like, look how awesome this game is. But at least like intercut some gameplay in there, like even just brief snippets. You know, like I literally have no idea what kind of game that is just from watching the trailer.
It may still be a work in progress. I think the game's a little ways off.
Well, fucking. Who does their cutscenes first?
Yeah, but it's probably easier to finalize a cutscene in engine than it is to finalize gameplay.
That's true.
Yeah.
With a vertical slice or something.
But I don't know. It felt like a very big trailer, like a big reveal trailer. And I'm fine like with teaser trailers not showing like gameplay or anything like that. We were just like, oh, it's Metroid Prime 4. Here's some words. 'Cause that's just to get you excited for the game.
Hey, there was a number too.
Okay, words and a number. Thank you, Chris.
I
just like
want to be into this, but I mean, Sucker Punch did the Infamous games, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And those fucking sucked. And I mean, what else? They did the Sly games. Sly 1 is phenomenal. The other two are, I mean, we can discuss it till the cows come home.
The only Sucker Punch game I played is Rocket Robot.
Rocket,
Wheels.
yeah, that's a good game too.
That
I mean,
game's
for
really
its era, yeah, it's I wouldn't recommend going to play it now blindly, but yeah, I mean, for its time,
I think
it's phenomenal.
even if you like know what kind of stuff was coming out at the time, you could appreciate it for its when it came out.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's not fair to compare it to games of today, but it's fine to compare it to like other Nintendo 64 and PlayStation games.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. But I think when it comes to open world games, I just Infamous, the first two Infamous games are not fun. Like the worlds, they give you these cool ass powers. Like, oh, I have fucking lightning. That's cool. What do I do with it? Fucking nothing. Like like grind on train tracks.
That is mostly what I remember from that game is grinding on the train tracks.
The city was so boring. I don't know what if that's indicative of what they're going to do with their world. I don't want to be in that world. That's not exciting.
Huh. Yeah, that's fair. I think this trailer does look cool, but I have no idea. Obviously, we have no idea what the game is going to play like. So, I would like to see more, but I have no idea if I'm going to pick this up, in 2 years or whatever when it comes out. So
5 years with the PS5.
Yeah. So
what else was there at Paris Games Week?
We got Guacamelee 2. That's cool.
Guacamelee 2. It costs extra.
Oh, that was good. Got 4-player co-op apparently. I love the first Guacamelee, so I'm down for this. Sucks
How do you do 4-player
it's
co-op in a Metroidvania game?
I don't know. I hope it's not like too focused on that because I don't want to play a 4-player co-op. I just want another Guacamelee game.
Yeah, it's a good game.
I think it kind of sucks that it seems to be timed exclusive for PS4 right now because I played the first one on Vita, and I think playing it on a handheld is a good way to do it. So I'd like to play it on Switch. It'll probably come to Switch eventually since Guacamelee came to pretty much everything, but
they all come to Switch.
Except the Disney Afternoon Collection.
Fuck Capcom.
Yeah, we could go into that. Let's not. They showed off a new game called Concrete Genie, which seems interesting.
I watched that. Like, it's pretty, and it's like, I like painting on things and them coming to life, but I'm like...
And then getting beat up by bullies.
Yeah, and then getting beat... Well, obviously. Ooh. Everybody knows all those taggers are getting beat up by bullies all the time. But, like, I guess I don't understand the full scope of the game, but I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, it looks cool. Like, you're drawing characters and landscapes and stuff that come to life on the walls, but then, like, what do you do after that? I don't know.
There's that, like, cute, goofy-looking monster on the wall, and I just picture him going, I'm sorry you're getting beat up. And... And yeah, that's the game to me so far.
I mean, that's probably what happens. Like, you watch the trailer.
That's a lie.
You watch the trailer and you think he's gonna like come out of the wall or something and save the kid. Nope, that's not what happens.
No, he just sort of like stands behind him, looks sad for him.
I feel bad that we're laughing at this kid who's getting bullied, but
it's fine.
It's what happens.
Fucking nerd deserves it.
And they announced Spelunky 2 and didn't show much of anything, but that's cool. Did you guys play Spelunky?
Spelunky's brutal. I play that a lot with one of my friends in co-op, and man, that I tend to zone out a lot of times in games, and you just cannot do that in the game. Like, you literally have to think everything wants to kill you at every single like step. Like, should I fall down this ledge? No, let me throw rocks down here first so that like I could see if there's arrow traps that are going to come shooting out at me. It's a little bit stressful of a game for me, I think.
Yeah, it's not my jam.
And I made it to the boss, and then we both died on the boss really quick. But I don't know. I think it's decent. It's fun. It's fun if you're like in the mood for that type of thing, for like everything wanting to kill you, and you have to be walking on glass to make your way through the levels.
That sounds awful.
That's kind of what it's like.
Okay.
You got to be on your A game for the entire goddamn game. There's very little forgiveness.
I never played it, but I don't think I'm going to now. Thanks, Seth.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Mario Odyssey apparently sold a buttload.
Whoa. Let's back it up. There was a trailer for the Destiny expansion at this Paris thing.
Yeah, like I said, Mario Odyssey sold a buttload.
Yeah, Mario Odyssey sold a bunch.
Listen,
if I can skip over the Spider-Man trailer, we can skip over the Destiny trailer.
Yeah, I was actually surprised you did that too. What was going on here?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, there's not a lot of new going on in the Spider-Man trailer.
Yeah. No, we can talk about Destiny. That's cool.
No, to me, like, they're totally playing at people who have been playing Destiny for a while and are invested in the shitty lore, and it's cheap and obvious, but it's working because like I'm totally into it. It stars a character that's been around since the first game, but you've never seen him. He was banished from the Guardian Vanguard, I guess as a heretic or something. He's a warlock.
Call that the Vanguardian.
They're not going to do that. They should, though. You're right. And he's a warlock named Osiris, and he ran away to Mercury, and I guess he's in now. Finally, you get to meet Osiris, and then the trailer's like, "Will he be friend or foe?" It's like, "Oh God, fuck you, fuck you, Destiny." It's so fucking stupid, but I love it.
So, what do you think he'll be, Craig?
I think they'll pretend he's a foe, but then he'll help you out. He'll have a heart of gold in the end.
Yeah, that sounds like video games.
That sounds like the old Osiris.
Yeah, Mario sold 1 million, 2 million, 5 million. How many?
2 million copies worldwide in its first 4 days.
Nice. The Switch is a fucking freight train.
Yeah. I mean, this is crazy. Apparently, it's the fastest selling Mario game ever. Faster than the last one was New Super Mario Brothers Wii. And that was 3 years into the Wii's life. And, obviously there were a ton of consoles out there, so a lot more people to buy the game. And
that was also a pack-in, too.
Yeah. I think they're talking, in the first few days, though. I mean, because obviously Mario Odyssey is pretty new. But I think it's awesome that this game is selling as well as it is. Because, you look at a lot of the sales of Mario games in the past, and the 2D new Super Mario Brothers games have been selling a lot better than Galaxy, at least in the long term. Whether or not this game continues to sell, we'll see. But I hope it does, because I liked it. And
Choo-choo, motherfuckers, get on the train.
Nintendo's current expectation is to sell 14 million Switches by March. So
isn't that how many Wii U's they sold throughout its entire life?
Yeah, there's like 13 million Wii U's.
Yeah, they didn't even sell that many.
If they hit expectations, they're going to outsell the Wii U in the first year.
That's a lot left to sell, though. I mean, they're at, 6 million or something now?
They're about half that, I think, right?
Yeah, I think they're at 7.
6 or 7.
Yeah, 7 million.
Plus, they got the first holiday season.
Yeah,
that's
Christmas.
true. That's true, and they sell a ton at Christmas. So Nintendo in general. I mean, and we'll see how this system does, but I mean, I hope this bodes well for the system. You know, I mean, Mario games obviously are, you know, everybody loves Mario games, but you know, the fact that people are going out and buying games for this thing, and the system is continuing to sell, that bodes well. And I want it to do well because I like the Switch, and I love the fact that, you know, it is a portable and you can play it on your TV. You know, I've said I wish every game was on the Switch, and obviously that's not going to happen. But the better it sells, better for us. So.
Yeah, more games are people are gonna be wanting to release on it. So it's good news. It's good news.
And you can't come in our clubhouse, Capcom. You had your chance.
No Capcoms.
Did you see Capcom's excuse on like why they don't have like Switch games?
It takes too much time.
Yeah, a year is too short. Like, you fucking released Dead Rising 3 at Xbox One launch. Like, don't fucking make
People
that
were
shitty
just port
excuse.
begging. They just wanted the ports. Just tell us that Double Cross is going to be translated. Tell us that the Disney Afternoon is going to be on it. Like, that's all I wanted. I'm not saying give me Mega Man 11 or whatever the fuck you're on. I'm not even asking for anything brand new. I'm just saying put these other games that you have on other systems on here so I can play them portably.
It takes too much time, Craig. It's just not going to happen. I'm sorry. It takes too
These
much
guys
time.
are doofuses.
It takes too much time to port NES games over to.
and you got EA that are like, they put out like 8 sports games on this thing. They're like, well, now we just wait and see. And it's like, you're no big loss, EA. That's fine. We don't need you anyway.
Nah, nobody needs EA.
I don't. That's for sure. Apparently, GameStop is going to have some kind of rental subscription program where you can pay $60 and take out as many pre-owned games as you want for 6 months, one at a time.
I like that somebody described this as what GameStop employees can already do, but now everybody else can do as well.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah.
No, but what happens at the end of the 6 months, Chris?
You get to keep one.
You get to keep one. What a game! You get to keep the last game you borrowed, right?
Was
Or
it the
rented.
last game? If you pick the last, if it's like a shitty game that you pick at the end of that.
Oh no, man! You better make sure. You better make sure you got yourself a good game.
You're stuck with Lego Jurassic World. GameStop is obviously scrambling to keep up with Best Buy and Best Buy and Amazon have a lot of people locked in with these plans where you get 20% off new releases, and I think in case of Best Buy, some games have gift cards and you get free shipping. And GameStop, in all fairness, GameStop really can't compete with that because they don't have loss leaders in the same way that Amazon and Best Buy do. I'll be honest with you, I prefer going to GameStop. Up until Amazon started giving me 20% off of games, I went to GameStop. Like, my sister works at this GameStop. The manager's a nice dude. I get to talk to a human being, which I don't normally do because I'm a recluse.
This all sounds terrible so far.
Right,
Please
that's
keep
fine.
making your point.
A lot of people don't like it, and that's fine. I liked it. I like that human interaction with that transaction. But sorry, I mean, you take 20% off my game, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going back. I make money on Amazon Prime. Like, I buy so many games that they're basically paying me to take the games off their hands. And unless GameStop can do something to compete with that, I'm not going to rent games or whatever. I heard they're going to do, like, I don't know if they've already done it or they're going to do it, but some, like, higher tier of their pro membership or whatever it's called. I don't know what perks would go along with that, but if it's not 20% off, nobody cares.
It is 20% off.
that.
It's 20% off used games.
Yeah, used games.
I mean, that we already get 10% off. I mean, another 10% off. Once upon a time, actually, that would have been great for me. Back when I was buying like every fucking game that ever came out, that would have been great. I don't do that anymore. I don't think a lot of people do. No, actually, probably no one ever did, but I did. It was terrible. But I don't. The 10% off the occasional game is just fine. I don't think you need to pay more for 20% off the occasional used game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bullocks.
Yeah, I actually have the membership at GameStop. I have the Elite Pro membership, it's called. And that's because I traded in my old iPhone there, and they were giving the same amount cash as they would for credit, and I got an extra 30% or something because I signed up for the Elite membership. So I spent an extra $15 to upgrade my membership, and I got like an extra $60 for it. And that is literally the only reason I would ever sign up for that.
Oh.
So
I read the Game Informer. It's $15 a year. I read the Game Informer. I actually, I'm going to say something that's going to sound like really weird coming from me, but I like the Game Informers. I like reading anything that has nothing to do with an opinion. I don't care about any of the opinions from any of the writers in that magazine. I don't care about the reviews or editorials, but some of the other stuff they got going on there is actually not half bad. It's worth the $15 a year.
I had Game Informer free. I had bought like Amiibo and a few exclusive games there like a couple years ago, and I guess I had racked up enough like of their whatever free club points to put myself into a higher tier of their power-up rewards, and then I started getting the Game Informer for a while. And yeah, no, they're fun. It's a decent magazine. They're so thin, though. The video game magazines are like crazy thin these days.
I feel like all magazines are crazy thin, aren't they?
Yeah, they used to be all like nice and thick and fun. I don't know, but no, it's still good. It's still nice to have a game magazine out there.
Yeah, that's true. Overwatch has a new character, Moira, who is a mix of DPS and healing. Seth, what's DPS stand for?
That is a double penetration specialist.
Got it.
She does heal and damage. I mean, that sounds like she's
some DPS.
She's penetrating doubly into those matches.
What does DPS stand for?
Damage per second. So those are like Shooty Man Soldier 76 getting out there and doing some damage per second.
You kids and your lingo.
I think that's a pretty old. That's old. That's an old acronym. That's like, I mean, you know what AOE is, right?
Area of effect.
Right. I think AOE is. I mean, those are. I think they're both pretty old. I really like the new character. I think she looks cool as hell, and I think she'll be super fun. But as someone who plays the game, there's categories of heroes that you can play as, and there's one category called defense that they've just done nothing with since the launch of the game. They've done some minor tweaks to the existing characters, but nothing major, and they haven't released any new defense characters. Every other category's got new heroes, in some cases major overhauls to the heroes, and then they're constantly like, oh, we got to worry about balance, we got to do this to this character and that to that character, and it's like, how about you come up with a new defense character to counter some of this shit instead of trying to tweak everyone else?
Do you need anybody else aside from Turret Guy?
Yeah. Some of those other characters are pretty effective. Junkrat is really great. I think Junkrat is an awesome defense character. May is effective in the right hands, or really annoying depending on which team you're on. But I don't know, because maybe they can come up with ideas that I can't off the top of my head for a defensive character. You know, I wouldn't necessarily come up in my head someone like Moira. So maybe they have some really cool ideas I don't know about. But actually maybe not, because there's no new defense characters. I feel like the game needs defense characters. It's just, I don't know. Someone that's more effective in controlling a point than, say, like Orisa, who can just throw down shield. Like that's their go-to for characters who aren't to augment defense. You know, they're not characters who fall in the defense category, but they're characters that fall into other categories, and they just have an ability that like where they can throw out a shield. That's it. Like, well, they got a shield. That's defense. That's okay, great.
Let me ask you this question as somebody who doesn't really care and just wants to hear you talk more. Did they hint at Moira at all in like the lore of the game, or is she just like pop out of nowhere?
She popped out of nowhere.
All right, because I know like Doomfist, everybody's like, "Oh, there's Doomfist. Doomfist needs to be a playable character," and then he's there.
Doomfist was heavily hinted at. Sombra, there was like an ARG that no one solved. Everyone fucking sucked ass at it, and Blizzard was like, "Fine, it's fucking Sombra. Here she is." some of these, some of them have some lead up. But to the best of my knowledge, I haven't really played too much recently. But to the best of my knowledge, there was no lead up to Moira.
Okay. I like the name Moira. It's so fun to say.
She's a cool character. I hate being butthurt, but like it's like we need more defense characters. We need people whose sole purpose is controlling the point. Instead of just having a bunch of beefy dudes throw down shields on it. Like that's getting really uninteresting. But nah, she looks like a really cool healing character.
I think she looks cool, but I have never played Overwatch, so I don't know.
Chris, does the name just make you think of that chick that Professor X hangs out with?
It sure does.
Yeah, me too. All right.
You fucking
Moira
nerds.
McTaggart.
Yep.
And our last story is about NeoGAF and that shit. Right after
that shit.
I mean, I'm just trying to tell it like it is.
Dig into it.
No. Let me just
set the stage for us, Seth. Go ahead.
No, I'm not even okay. Last week we obviously covered some sexual harassment stuff, and Craig just felt like we fumbled that shit and did not stick any sort of landing, and he was just
don't pin it on me. We all felt like that.
Okay, well, I felt like that was the best I could do. I feel like I fucked it up, but you felt like we could do better. You felt we okay. So this is not mine because I'm perfectly happy with as far as I could go. This is Craig's chance to redeem himself and stick this his points and landings here eloquently. All right, so what happened with the whole NeoGAF thing? No pressure, Craig.
Is Craig telling the story or am I telling the story?
Who's telling the story?
Chris is telling the story.
All
Chris
right,
is news guy.
Chris, you're news guy.
No pressure, Chris.
Okay.
Yeah, this has been 2 weeks now since this happened, but the owner of NeoGAF was accused of sexual misconduct, to put it lightly. A former female friend of his posted on Facebook that he had had come into the shower while she was very drunk and getting sick, and she was naked, and he nakedly climbed into the shower with her. And
nakedly climbed.
Nakedly. It's a common adverb. Come on. And that's I don't know. That's something. She posted this privately on her Facebook, and then it got screenshotted and shared all around. He initially did not respond. The modding staff on NeoGAF, a good chunk of them quit. NeoGAF went down for like the entire weekend. He talked to Waypoint and eventually put up his own statement and said that she was mentally ill and disturbed, and that this is all. He didn't deny it, but he made it sound.
Yeah, key thing here is he didn't deny any of this.
Yeah, which is I don't know how you defend that and how people were out there defending him. I don't get it. You know, I'm getting tongue-tied here, but I just don't understand it. So somebody take it from here.
That was the only thing that came to light. There was screenshots. I don't know how old these screenshots were, but apparently, like, he went to like Spain or something like that. He was out drinking with some people, including a woman, and she wanted him to buy her drinks. I'm not sure about the complete context of it, but he grabbed her ass. And he said he did that. And I mean, he posted this. He grabbed her ass, and he said he did it to assert dominance so that she knew exactly what was happening.
I think this was around 2012.
So he was a bit older. That's what I thought. It was a little while ago. So the key thing here is that these things come from his own admission, or he doesn't deny them. These aren't just allegations. Like, I think we can safely say they pretty much happened. And gross. I guess, like that, gross. Although the one thing that sucks about this on a personal level is that I've been trying to get into GAF for like years, and I finally got my account approved like 3 days before this shit happened.
You weren't on GAF?
No, I wasn't on GAF. No, they kept rejecting. So they don't allow, for those, we'll go back to square one here. For those who are listening that don't know what GAF is, it's a very popular video game forum online.
It was a very popular video game forum.
It was.
It's still a video game forum.
Right.
And it was good because it didn't like subsection off like all the different consoles or games or everything. It was just all video games, just all together, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo,
Right.
everything
And
just all together in one place.
And it was a big melting pot for gamers, for developers, and for journalists. I mean, a lot of people posted there. It was very popular. But in order to get in, you had to basically apply to post. And they didn't accept email addresses like Gmail or Yahoo, like places that you could easily get an email address. In which case, I don't know what email address you're supposed to use. So I use my TV and Lust email address. I fucking pay for that. That's not a Gmail. I bought that. That's mine. And they always rejected it. And I'm like, what the fuck? What do you want from me then? What am I supposed to buy another one?
I had to use my work email address to
So did
sign
I.
up.
I didn't want to do that, but that's finally what I did. And it still took them 3 months after I did that to finally approve me.
I think I used my college
And-
email like 10 years ago.
I don't know. But then from the ashes came a new forum, Reset Era. They approved me right away, so that was pretty good. They have the same stipulation, can't use like Gmail or whatever, but I didn't have to wait 3 months. But there is a new forum like GAF, it's Reset Era. The thing with these, I am glad, like we said last episode, I'm glad that these sorts of allegations are coming to light and that they are being discussed. I mean, allegations are, you want to err on the side of like believing the person who airs these allegations, because I mean there's a whole culture to unpack in that, to the whole history of, you know, women usually not being believed when it comes to claims like this. And so I think it's probably better to err on the side of at least taking it seriously, right? And I'm glad that more and more women are feeling comfortable, maybe even dudes, shouldn't necessarily discriminate in this case, but women generally feeling comfortable coming forward and talking about this stuff. And in the case of NeoGAF, the guy either admitted this stuff himself or didn't deny it. So I'm glad that he's getting whatever comes to him.
Can I get to a point about this whole evil lore thing? All right, so it's going to sound like I'm semi-defending him, and I'm not. I just want to illustrate just how poorly everything was. All right, let's say he's drunk, she's drunk. She's vomiting, she's sick, he gets into the shower with her. All terrible. You're not supposed to do that, even if you're fucking misreading signals or whatever. Just don't. No, you're not. When somebody's like sick and vulnerable, and you don't go into a shower uninvited with somebody. But she told him to get the fuck out, and he got the fuck out, which is at least, you know, the only defendable thing about that. You know, he forced himself on her at that point.
Sure, I think to build off that, and again, I'm going to sound like I'm defending him or even dog whistling, but this is a very good example of what people refer to as toxic masculinity, which has become like this really strange buzzword that I think people throw around and either don't understand it, or we haven't agreed on what it means, or they're using it incorrectly, or I don't know. But I think that what it means is that masculinity in general is not toxic. That's not the takeaway here. You can be masculine and not toxic. But there's a certain brand of masculinity that's toxic, and that's this. It's this that makes you think you can jump into a shower with a woman and think that'll get you somewhere, even though you have no sexual relationship with this person. Or that you can grab a stranger's ass to assert dominance. That is very literal. That is toxic masculinity. That is a perfect example of it.
Okay, I'm so glad you went there too, because that, even if like he got the fuck out, whatever, you know, it just sort of after that, and then his statements with Waypoint and everything, just sort of just came out of just how big of an asshole he is in general, like a full of himself asshole, and that's the point where I want to get to. He did not handle any of what happened afterwards well. He left his moderators to hang without any statement or anything on NeoGAF. He eventually talked to Waypoint. The way he talked to Waypoint about this girl, he kept calling her crazy and shit, which is just fucked up. You don't
Yeah.
like call
Yeah.
like, oh, well, you can't do it. She's crazy. That was fucking driving me crazy.
Yeah, that's I don't want to say that's the worst part for me, but like that is an awful part. You know, you say, you know, I don't want to sound like I'm defending him either. I'm certainly not, but like there's something to be said for misreading signals. I don't think it's okay to misread signals and jump in the shower with somebody, but like if a guy and a girl are in a situation and you misread the signals, that's one thing. He's not even saying that's what happened. He's just outright attacking her. And like that's fucked up. That is
Yeah.
like
he's
even
not,
if
like,
you want to
saying,
defend
"Oh,"
yourself, that's not how to do it.
there was no apologizing. There was no like, oh yeah, I messed up, whatever, you know? He just has this entitlement to himself where he's like, no, that's no big deal. She's crazy, whatever. And just the way he conducts himself past the incident and allegations and just everything like that, that is what made me not want to post on NeoGAF anymore. Just how big of, like, it just seemed like an immature, stuck-up, full of himself, entitled asshole. And I just could not abide by any of that.
You know, I don't think people talk about this a lot because there's a lot of conversations about consent and without unpacking that too much, it is always good idea to err on the side of respect and getting consent and everyone understanding what's going to happen in a situation. However, and this sounds like a dog whistle also, I think everyone who's ever been in at least a couple of sexual relationships or situations can agree that sometimes flirting isn't as black and white as it should be. And I don't know the situation where he jumped in the shower. I think that's wrong. I don't think that you should be jumping in the shower where someone's drunk and they're not feeling well.
Right.
So that doesn't necessarily apply here. But there are occasions where, I don't know,
If
something
you're sorry,
may
like,
not be straightforward.
Like, honestly, I could be like, if he's like, oh, fuck, I fucked up. I thought this was something. I messed up here. I'm sorry. You know, if there was any sort of apology, to this, then that would be an entirely different scenario, you know?
That's right. That's exactly what I agree with. It's easy to misread signals, to think that this is a situation where the flirting is not clear, and to do something wrong. And if you felt bad about that, I would say that in that case, the woman is the primary victim of toxic masculinity, but I would say that Evil Lore is the secondary victim. Like dudes having to live in a culture where they feel like grabbing someone's ass is the right thing to do. I mean, that's not rad either.
No, that's very
you know, and right. And so to be clear, the women in those situations, primary victim, absolutely. I'm not denying that, but you know, to feel like, you know, I got to jump in the shower, grab people's asses because that's how these things work. You know, that's a culture and society that's failed you.
Yeah, and that's not how things work. Don't think that way. Fucking, it's gonna things are gonna get interesting. I think as like all this stuff in the media and just everywhere gets unpacked, and it's gonna make everybody rethink. Just a lot of different ways that are what's appropriate and what isn't, and that's good. It needs to be looked at.
Yeah.
Feels a bit like a tipping point, doesn't it? Like there's a lot more of this stuff coming. Kevin Spacey, that shit happening with him.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean the Kevin Spacey one. I mean, we don't really need to talk about that one, but that one, because he didn't deny it either. He's like, "Well, surprise, I'm gay." It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude. All right.
Well, and then his House of Cards co-workers were saying stuff that he was doing as well. So
Yep.
And what sucks is they have to pay the price for that, because I mean that show's canceled. Netflix isn't doing the show anymore, so they got to pay the price for that. I mean, on the one hand, I'm glad that Kevin Spacey's receiving his comeuppance for this stuff. We should not encourage this behavior in society. No. It's fucked up. But yeah, I mean, obviously his coworkers are victims in this as well.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I guess.
Yeah, we should see more and more of this. I'm into this.
Yeah, no, like it actually feels like a significant tipping point for something in our lifetime, in a way.
Yeah, this is. I mean, I think the moral of the story should not be don't grab women's asses and jump in the shower with them, but like, don't fucking do that. And if you know, I mean, like we said, you know, you can misread signals and people make mistakes and whatever, but like, if you do, hey, listen to the person who says, "Hey, you fucked up," and apologize and own
like
it.
She's,
you know,
don't be she's crazy.
yeah.
I think it's less about telling people what to do, like in individual circumstances, and just it's really more about just erring on the side of treating the other person with respect, even if that means, let's just say, devil's advocate, that you're a dude and you're spending time with a woman, maybe you're both a little tipsy, whatever, and she wants you to do something like this. She wants you to take charge and do something, I don't know, dirty, nasty. And
getting in the shower with her naked is probably skipping a step or two.
Well, I didn't know how to take that sentence, but maybe she wants you to like grab her ass to assert dominance. Listen, it takes all kinds to make the world go around. Maybe that's what someone's into, but you know, that's going to be one person out of however many. You really should err on the side of not grabbing someone's ass, thinking that they're going to like that, because odds are they're not. You should even if.
I feel like that's also skipping a step. I feel like there's probably going to be like making out or something before there's like getting naked in the shower or ass grabbing.
Yeah.
Listen, like I said, it takes all
puking
kinds.
is not the middle step.
Listen, if you want your ass grabbed immediately by a stranger, that's on you. But I think as a dude, you know, being sort of heteronormative here, but you know, you really should err on the side of treating the people around you with a sense of dignity. And going from there. And then, you know, hey, if they want you to choke them in the throes of passion, then you go for it. But that's you're gonna have to. They're gonna have to tell you that first. You're gonna have to get that permission.
Yeah, that's still not step one.
That's absolutely
yes.
right. That's not step one. That's right. All right. Well, I think if we end it here, I think this will be demonstrably better than the last time we discussed.
All right.
An issue like this.
Awesome. Do you feel better about it, Craig?
Yeah. I think, well, because like last time we just decided right before we recorded, like, yeah, let's talk about that. And like, I don't think any of us were prepared to talk about such a weighty subject. I don't think that we still are. I think we're just still three dudes trying to fumble our way through it, who feel strongly about something and trying to get some idea out there. But yeah, I think we did a better job.
I think we made our point.
As long as you're happy with it.
Do we have a mailbag?
No. Nobody replied.
Nobody replied.
So much for sticking that landing.
Yeah, no, I threw that up like at 5 hours ago. We got no reply. We've got like favorites. People favorited it. Thanks. Thank you for favoriting the tweet about wanting comments and questions. Nobody actually replied to it.
I think we have about 100 listeners, maybe 120 listeners. And then maybe they just don't want to get involved in the mailbag. That's fine. They just want to listen. They don't want to get like participation. Fuck that. I'm not doing that.
That's fine though, because we didn't have a mailbag the past like few episodes, and also I threw this one up last minute, so that's probably my bad. We'll try again next week and we'll fill it out, or next episode.
All right, that's good. We should do that. All right. I mean, do you guys have anything like to add to this episode?
I'm good.
All right, cool. Well, I want to thank everyone for listening. You can find Ludowave Radio on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Ludowave Radio, where you can subscribe. You can download. We allow our tracks to be downloaded. You can stream. You can like. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Google Play. You can find us on Stitcher. Wherever you find your podcasts, you can find us. Please give us a review in Apple Podcasts. That would be greatly appreciated. You can find us on Facebook and on Twitter at Ludowave Radio. Our theme song was composed exclusively for us by Morning Moon and Mercury. You can find more of his stuff at morningmoonandmercury.bandcamp.com. You can find me, Craig, on Twitter and Instagram at TV Lust on both. Seth, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Seth Castellum. And Chris, where are you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @eChrisDunn.
All right, we're out.
Bye.
Peace.